Catherine, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, very good, thank you. You're now the chair of the leadership team at Avixa. Can you tell us a bit about your background and what got you interested in the work that Avixa does?
Absolutely. So, you know, my, I guess, roots of AV go way back. So I think one of my first, actually when I was in college, I studied audio engineering.
Oh, right.
Very little known fact. And
Yep.
one of the first jobs that I got out of business school was actually working at Shure, and I was
Oh.
doing product development, working in product management, doing microphones and audio. So I'm very passionate about the industry. I've always been passionate about technology. My career's kind of progressed over time. I moved away from pro audio and went into the gaming space.
Oh.
Yeah, and spent actually, which is where I currently am now,
Yeah.
but I spent 16, 17 years in the gaming space. Slot machines, table games, you know, there's an element of kind of experiential design of when we create, you know, new products on that side.
Yeah.
I've managed big teams of product managers, product development, strategy, marketing, operations, and now I'm currently the Chief Commercial Officer at OpenBet, which is really focused in the sports betting and entertainment space, something that we've, you know, a role that I've been in for the past 3 years.
Okay. So you probably feel very at home here in Las Vegas.
100%, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I believe you also have a position or role at Northwestern University as well. What does that involve?
So I'm on the faculty at Northwestern. I teach in the Masters of Engineering program. It's called the McCormick School of Engineering.
Yeah.
I actually focus on digital transformation. That's what I teach, and I teach master's level students on
Right.
kind of how technology converges and how we can drive digital transformation in, you know, technology, innovation, you know, operations, and all the kind of aspects of that.
Okay. That's very relevant for this industry, particularly on the corporate side.
100%.
So now, as part of the leadership team and chair, what areas will you be focusing on? What do you think Avixa should be working on currently?
Yep. So it's been such a privilege being part of the Avixa organization. You know, as you mentioned, this year I'm the chair, and I've actually been on the board for about 6 years now.
Wow.
And I would say over the time, you know, when you sit on the Avixa board, you're really helping to drive the strategy of what the Avixa, you know, ecosystem involves. That's growing the membership, you know, helping to optimize the trade shows, you know, ensuring that we're focused in the right areas from an industry perspective. You know, the things that I've brought to the table as being part of the board of directors, I think I have a, you know, a specialty in product development. That's kind of where my background has been. So I would say, you know, when Avixa launched the Avixa Exchange, you know, the digital platform, it was something that I was really, you know, involved in trying to support the Avixa staff. They do a phenomenal job. You know, I mean, operationally, they know how to create a great product. You know, and I just kind of lend my you know, eyes and ears on it to kind of give some perspective.
Okay. And are there any issues that you think are important for Avixa to tackle in terms of like the AV industry or its workforce?
Yeah, well, so I mean, I think I would say, I wouldn't say that it's issues, but maybe some challenges that we have. And,
Right.
and you mentioned workforce, so I think it's actually a really good point. I feel like definitely the demand for, you know, for AV work and the labor force is actually much higher than the supply. I think that's something that, you know, post-COVID, we've kind of seen a ramp up of a lot of, you know, the experiential economy and you know, the AV economy. And I think that's a challenge. I've talked to a lot of exhibitors here and talked to a lot of members, and I think that's one challenge that they're saying. It's like, hey, there's not enough individuals in the workforce, you know, there's much higher demand. Where are we, you know, bringing these, you know, bringing more people into the industry? And I think that's where Avixa really has a role, you know, strong role to play. I think, you know, Avixa really focuses on harnessing some of the certifications, the training, education, and then, you know, bringing in people from adjacent industries, right? There's a lot of technology, you know, specialists that are out there that maybe don't think about the audiovisual industry as something to come into, like myself included. Like you know, I guess I thought when I was going to go to college, I studied piano, but I also studied, you know, my mom said, go study something technology.
Right.
Luckily, it was very focused in audio because I came from the music background. I really,
Yeah.
you know, was really passionate about it. But then, you know, at that time, I thought, okay, audio means being a sound engineer or a recording engineer. then you start looking to see broader. You know, it's not until
Yeah.
I think I walked into like kind of my first role in the AV industry. Well, it's much bigger than just audio or products or whatever. I mean, it's creating experiences. And I think it's about really driving the relevance of audio visual in the industry, not just so much in where we are, but in adjacent industries as well.
Okay. And do you see any issues that are coming up in the future, or challenges, as you say? What do you think is going to be the next thing that we need to look at?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are talking about it now, which is a good thing, which is how do we harness, you know, the evolution of AI and ML, and how does that actually get, you know, baked into how we're thinking about innovation, how we're thinking about driving, you know, operational efficiency, how we think about, you know, creating better experiences.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a little bit of unknown, fear, not sure, you know, right now about like how is AI and ML going to impact the workforce, or how is it going to impact, you know, my job. And I really think that it's inevitable. We have to, it's, you know, we have to move with it. We have to help push the industry forward with it. And although we may not be the experts, there's partners that are, right? How do we partner with the right types of companies who are experts in this space? And then what can we do to leverage that technology, right? And some of the code base to be able to evolve our innovation and, you know, make better products and services.
Right. Is there, would you be encouraging your students at Northwestern to consider a career in AV?
100%. And actually, it's a great question. We talk about it a lot, and I think a lot of these students, you know, they come from, you know, their engineering backgrounds. They've, you know, a lot of them have like, you know, they're focused in AI, ML, other different areas. And when we start talking, like I've talked to them, you know, about sort of these different industries. Like I'm like, this is an untapped area that you probably don't even think about. You don't think about some of these big manufacturers. They reside within this industry. A lot of people in, you know, that are studying technology, they think, oh, I need to go work at the big tech companies, you know, Silicon Valley. That's great, it's awesome, but there's this whole untapped market here that maybe you're not thinking about, so 100%.
So obviously the workforce is a key area, and Avixa has a role to play. What do you think can be done to actually attract people into the industry? What are the key steps that need to be taken?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Look, I think it is actually a big responsibility of Avixa as the trade association to help draw these other adjacent industries into it, right? Yeah. I think there's a lot of steps. So I think one is ensuring that there's relevance so that people know what is Avixa, you know, what are, it's not just, you know, AV, it's about creating experiences, right? When you look at what's going on at the Sphere, like, do people think of that as like, oh, I went to go see the Grateful Dead and it was a cool experience? Well, that's all AV, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that. And it's kind of helping people connect the dots, right? Yeah. There's many glamorous things that are part of AV that people don't maybe categorize under the umbrella of AV. I feel like it's Avixa's you know, opportunity, responsibility to help educate people on that.
Right. So there's an education role to draw people in.
100%.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. How do you think you might go about this challenge of educating people, getting them to understand what AV means, you know, this term that people just haven't heard about, and can it be done?
Yeah, it absolutely can be done. I'll use a couple of examples. So one, there's a lot of other industries and industry associations. So another board that I'm on is the American Gaming Association, AGA. So like having those discussions together, like why can't we have some sort of, you know, Avixa affiliated, you know, speaker or panel at the AGA, going to other associations. And look, and Avixa is very active in that too. I mean, we're looking at other shows. How can we maybe, you know, combine them? How can we ensure that there's relevance of what Avixa does at other associations? Well, and I think it's like, okay, so how about this? Like we have Industry Day at Northwestern, right? And they bring in people, individuals. And so like, for sure, like, you know, OpenBet, I want people to come into the gambling, you know, so we go there and we sit there and we talk, right? And I think maybe it's the coordination of like, all right, every school will have some sort of industry day, or every school will have, you know, kind of like a career day. Because one, these students are chomping at the bit to get a job. They don't really care where they get a job at. Trust me. Like like these students that I have, like they are willing to work for free. I mean, just to put it on their resume. So are we there? Is Avixa there? You know, is the AV industry there talking about, you know, what there is to offer? right? It's not just like old school, like the way that you thought it used to be, like the AV cart, you know, like which I did that when I was in high school. I was like the AV person in high school. It's not. It's broader than that, right? And I think Avixa is doing a good job. You look at all the content that they're pushing, or that we're pushing on, you know, Avixa TV, and it's phenomenal. And that's how you kind of bring relevance to it. You make it exciting. Right?
Okay. Right. Well, it's very nice to see you here in Las Vegas. And it's an honour to meet you as you undertake this role.
Oh, thank you very much. I've enjoyed the conversation, so thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.